Manchester United have now released their full accounts for the 2022-23 season. Let's break down the figures and what the results actually mean for the club. Revenue reached a record level of £648.4 million, up 11% on the previous year. The last record revenue high was recorded in 2019 when it reached £627.1 million. Commercial revenue was up 17.5% and it exceeded the £300 million mark for the first time, coming in at £303 million. The main reasons for this improvement were sponsorship revenue, which was £189.5 million, an increase of £41.6 million or 28.1% over the prior year, due to the impact of new sponsorship agreements such as the 10-year £1.2 billion kit deal with Adidas. The men's first team pre-season tour in 2022 also contributed to increased commercial revenue. Matchday revenue was another factor, as it was up 23.4% to £136.4 million, mostly due to United having an extra 7 home games at Old Trafford last season, thanks to our runs in the League and FA Cup. Broadcasting revenue for the year was £209.1 million, a decrease of £5.8 million or 2.7% over the prior year, mostly due to us playing in the Europa League and not being in the Champions League. Other positive news is that the wage bill was down 13%. In the 21-22 season, we had the largest wage bill in the Premier League at £384.1 million, but that is now decreased by approximately £52 million and came in at £331.4 million. The main reason for this is again due to the team competing in the Europa League, as the players received a 25% salary reduction for failing to qualify for the Champions League. Ronaldo's huge £480k per week salary off the payroll, as well as high earners such as Pogba, Cavani and Mata departing the club, also contributed to this improvement. The downside of all of this is that the club still made a loss of £28.6 million for the year. The pre-tax loss was £33 million, but this was much less than the reported £150 million loss in the 21-22 season. So do we have any money in the bank? Cash flows decreased by £45.2 million in the year, as cash in the bank dropped to £76 million compared to £121.2 million at the prior year end, primarily due to investment in the first team playing squad. There were also no dividends paid to the Glazers for the first time since 2016. In the previous year, up to 30th of June 2022, United paid £33.6 million out in dividends. So what about the debt? Unfortunately, as we all know, the non-current debt that the Glazers loaded onto the club in 2005 has not gone anywhere, and results show that the long-term debt remains unchanged at $650 million, £507 million at today's exchange rate. Other debt includes £160 million of borrowings related to United's revolving credit facility, often referred to as the club's credit card, with Bank of America and Santander. This was made up of a drawdown on the 3rd of July of £50 million, a drawdown on the 3rd of August of £50 million, and a drawdown of £60 million on the 10th of October. These costs were mostly due to facilitating player transfers, and since there already was £100 million on the credit card, this took the total to £260 million of an available £300 million. As per football finance expert Kieran Maguire, Manchester United's football net debt, defined by UEFA as borrowings plus net transfer instalments owing minus cash, hit a record $862 million, that's over $1 billion US, and it was $12 million when the takeover took place in 2005. If you consider the $507 million long-term debt, the borrowing of the $260 million on the revolving credit facility, as well as the $317.8 million in transfer arrears, it equates to well over £1 billion debt on the club.
What?
The club also paid out $21 million on interest payments to service this debt for the last year. The variable rate of interest of which is applicable to the debt means this is the largest interest payment made since 2015. We must be honest that on the face of it there are lots of positives from a revenue perspective. We have seen record ticket sales, record sponsorship deals, and whilst commercially it might seem that Manchester United are going in the right direction, the long-lasting negative effects of the Glazers leverage buyout 18 years ago remain evident. Debt financing is common in a lot of businesses, and many football clubs have debt, but the extent to which the Glazers have loaded this onto the club has had a crippling effect. Further financial mismanagement has meant that they have dug a hole which has become very difficult to get out of. Our continuously increasing debt tells you everything you need to know about the precarious position the club is in under Glazers' ownership.